Good evening, YouTube. How are you all doing today? Well, it's a very beautiful 72 degrees on December 23rd in Missouri. That's pretty unheard of. I've been here enough to know that's not typical Ozark weather, but I'm going to take it because I'm getting all these raked up with a broken rake, which if you all been here a minute, that broken rake has been around for a minute, dude. And guess what? It still does the job. Praise the Most High. Just a little thought here. Oh yeah, I screwed the pooch on this one. I knew better. I really thought it was gonna go. No, so I tried that. That'll get figured out. Because I'm a problem solver, even if I gotta pull out the freaking saw. But something that has been on my mind and spirit lately, because the heart is deceiving and a liar, is this. Oh, that's kind of crappy. There we go. 4067. Shut up, kid. No, 40. The number 40. Well, I just turned 40 yesterday. Honestly, I never thought I'd make it to this point whatsoever, any way, shape, or form. That is purely by the grace and mercy of the Most High God. Even over the last few years, when I got baptized, which I know a lot of y'all are like, how's this dude baptized? How's he a believer? How's he have any faith? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, homie, there's a lot you don't see on this side of the stick. But the number 40. Before I turned 40, the Father's already been working in my life to eradicate a lot of stuff. A lot of not good behaviors. And to be honest with you, when you're in the darkness so long, man, it takes a minute for your eyes to adjust to the light. So with that being said, it's a walk. It's a process. It's a lot of stuff I still don't understand yet. And I have questions, and all I can do is continue to walk. Praise you, Father, for the fire. I needed that. But we've been busting butt. Worked straight through the weekend, and in this part of the week, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And I still got stuff to do. Dadgummit, dude. But 40 is a very relative number in the Bible. And I understand if some of y'all don't believe in the Bible or Jesus or any of that. I was born and raised in it, so I didn't really get that option so much. But I've also seen how horrible people were who are self-professing Christians, and I've seen all the evangelists like Jesse Duplantis and Kenneth Copeland come through the church, and pass around the plate, man. Make sure you put some of this in there for me. Wake up, sheep. Oh, that reminds me of this, though. Not ADDing from 40 yet, but this is just subvert. Everybody's freaking out, man, about the price of what? I put this on a video a while back, or maybe a few of them at this point, but guess what I paid for this? Nothing. I showed up. The Most High used a dude who straight up told me that Father God told him to get me that. I was like, whatever, man. I'll give you the money for it. It's cool. I'll collect some of that. He said, nope, no money, dude, and don't make me be disobedient to the Most High. So I took it. And to me, that's not just a piece of silver. That's an act of the Father. Show me that, dude, I'll give you blessings, but you got to listen. And we all go through these processes and stages of listening. You know, if you're not in spiritual warfare right now, I'm just curious to why not? Because we're seeing all this junk in the world happen. I've had high pressure on me lately with multiple things, and I'll tell you what, dude, there's times I've wanted to crack, and if it wasn't for Father Yah, I would have. If it wasn't for the Holy Spirit who resides in me, I would have. If it wasn't for Christ reminding me that He's walking with us, I would have. So, 40. Well, 40 years in the wilderness. That's what it took for Israel, or Hebrews at that point, to go into the promised land. 40. Christ being out in the wilderness. 40. Moses up, or actually, let me double check on the Christ part, but I'm pretty sure it was 40. 40. Moses being up on the mountain with the Most High, writing out the first, 5 books of the Bible. So I've been praying about it, and I've been asking the Most High, like, what does that mean? Well, if you read His Word, He'll show you. The whole thing about Jesus, I don't know why it took Him 40 days to do anything, because he is God. But I'm sure there's something there. I haven't asked Christ that Himself yet, so maybe He'll tell me one day, and I'll tell you all. But as far as 40 years, well, heart condition. It takes that long, or it did take that long, literally, for their heart condition to change. 40 days He was up there. All the Hebrews got bored and decided that they want to sit there and praise a false idol of a golden bull, which J.P. Morgan, they wanted that. So Aaron made this golden bull. And I've heard other wise men mention this, that, maybe that was a test of the people's heart. I believe that. I believe it was, because they came out of Babylon, or out of Egypt, and they wanted to go back to doing that. I mean, there's multiple times that they whined about being pulled out of slavery by Egyptians and wanted to go back. Their heart wasn't set on the Most High at all. The heart was set on themselves. And that also goes in with the tribe of Dan. Why does the tribe of Dan, or Dan, in the Bible, whenever Israel, aka Jacob, the man, not a nation state, blesses his son Dan, the 5th one, with judging his brothers? Well, if we're all believers and we're seeing what's going on in another nation state right now, maybe they are from Dan. Maybe that is what has to happen. And Dan chose idolatry and whatever else. I don't know, I wasn't there. But from what I've done a little research on, that's how that worked out. Idolatry, that could be the money, that could be power, who knows, that could be multiple things. Sorcery, blackmail, stuff like that. It's starting to make sense when you look at it that way. That tribe of Dan may be the head of the nation state of something else to bring judgment. But that's just a theory. So, but a lot of things took 40. Well, for me personally, yeah, dude. After hitting 40 and talking to a preacher and ask some questions to others, I got asked, why would the Father show you 40 and tell you that this is going to, this is whenever you're going to get stuff right? And I think the only answer I got for you is because this is whenever I'm truly going to serve Him. truly going to go for His will and truly get the log out of my eye, so I'm not focused on the speck in a brother's eye. Because when I get the log out of my eye, the actions will show, man. I should be there. I should be in those ashes. Figuratively. But honestly, realistically, the Father has had me walk through so many near-death experiences that, dude, there was a time in life where I was like, just let this one be it. Like, I'm sick of walking out of these things. But if that's the case, then I wouldn't be here talking to at least one of you. At least one. And that's the whole point. You know, I find it kind of funny. Some of these channels that are 500, 600, couple million subscribers, dude, they may get 10, 20,000 views. Out of that many subscribers, so people subscribe to you, but they're not watching. That makes you wonder about the dead internet theory, by the way, and that's a whole different hole to go in. Personally, I don't care. It's all worldly crap. And I don't care about this religion versus that religion. Oh, and I'll tell you something that really effed me up yesterday, as I was told by the preacher man of what happens during a bris, because I thought it was a circumcision. No, bro. Apparently it's a Talmudic ritual as well, or tradition. You know, let's not be anti-cinnamon here, since I do actually have cinnamon blood. What kind of sick crap is that? And you can look this up on the Google for yourself. At least in that Talmudic tradition, once the priest snips the tip, then he puts that baby's member in his mouth and sucks the. Ugh. What the fuck is wrong with you all? Whoever thought that was a good idea? First off, your mouth is full of so many different bacteria. Second, if you're a priest of the Most High, what about the purifying waters and bandages, bro? Who said put your mouth there? I think that's a satanic ritual that obviously is okayed now because of what? Babylonian tradition. Yeah, my handle here is Dano Not in the Lion's Den. And that is true. Even though sometimes I have been. Figuratively, not technically in a lion's den. I have had a mountain lion from here to about that tree right there, though, from me. That was an experience. But that don't mean I'm not Dano in Babylon. Now, I've read the book about the prophet Daniel. I was not named after him specifically. But actually, I take that back. I was given biblical names specifically, but also for other reasons. I'm not special. I'm not smart. Or the smartest out there. But I'll tell you what, I can see right through the veil of this. And maybe that has something to do with 40 as well. Maybe it takes that long to see through it. Because, I mean, at least it did with me. But I've also recognized there's another pattern here. Over the last 7-8 years, I've noticed that there's some of us rough lifestyle types, you know, see the hands, see that thumb that just now is growing back and it's still funky. The Father's been bringing us back, while the ones who are telling me how to live my life and I'm a sinner and all this, which, yeah, that's absolutely true. They're falling farther away and accepting rainbow flavors in the church. It's fine to teach a child that. You know what? You should do it right now. Says who? Satan? Yeah, he does. He wants to get everybody when they're young. That way you live a whole life for his quote-unquote little g glory. You're always focused on how hard life is and not focused on the Most High. Of course he would do that. And a lot of us, I've noticed there's a pattern. We've all been in a certain program before. That I can't explain fully yet, except for, yeah, there's people that are looking for people like us. Because we'll probably be the troublemakers. I'm alright with that. Because I already have been. If you're having your 40 moment, please let me know in the comments. Or if you have had this 40 moment, please let me know in the comments. If you think this is all crazy and I'm just spitting out gibberish, let me know in the comments. That's fine too. You know, sometimes I do stuff on purpose. It's called fishing. I don't know what the civilian side of that would be nowadays. And even then, the Army probably changed it now to probing to sound more appropriate. Okay. Because they would. I remember in 08 when all that junk started. Guess who was in office in 08, 09? Well, 09. Imagine that. But anyway, short, sweet. Hope you all have a safe season of whatever you celebrate. Personally, I don't care about any man-made tradition here. I'm seeking the Father because 40 years I had His grace and mercy. Now there's no thin ice to walk on for mercy or grace. Now, if I take my eyes off of Him, I will fall in the water. And He'll grab me because that's mercy. That's how I know He's real. He is real. What we think is real right now is a facade. Have a blessed day.